What's up, Statesman? It's been a while, but we're back with the 7th episode of the Student Athlete Question and Answer sponsored by ASA. Nick, how are ya?
I'm great. How's everything going with you, Madison?
Great, back in Oskaloosa. It's a great day.
Yeah, you were in California, got some sun.
Tried to, but anyways, we'll jump right into the first question. No, there's been a lot of questions coming in from students recently, so we want to have a chance to have you answer some of those. So what is an update on sports seasons?
Yeah, so, first off, you talked about questions. 2 weeks ago, President Addison sent an email out to all of our students just with an update on things. And then last week, I sent an email out to all of our students as well, just again with enhanced communication and update on kind of what we're doing. But, the update on sports seasons is, William Penn, we're committed. We're committed to playing our sports and our fall sports. And we have a bunch of action plans in place, to bring people back in the safest way possible with some reasonable mitigation steps. And so, I think it's important for, us to have those additional safety protocols in place. I mean, it's going to look a little bit different when student athletes come back, but so is your grocery shopping experience. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit more organized. So is your experience when you go to restaurants and such. And so it's going to be definitely more organized and more strategic on the way we lay things out. And, there's going to be testing and all those different things. But, we're committed to fall sports, and we're committed to, carrying out our seasons and starting on time as allowed by the NAIA and our conference.
Awesome. So leading into the next question, what additional measures is William Penn taking?
Yeah, we're really excited about some of the things that we've been able to do. Part of it, what COVID has, everyone's had to evolve. And I feel like our staff and our university has done a really good job trying to evolve and be cutting edge. And so, those that are willing to shift and define the area that we're going are the ones that are going to be best positioned. And I feel like that's what we've done. One of the things that is cutting edge is that we're working with a company called Presage Securities, and they've developed an app that can detect respirations and pulse. And so a student would pull out their phone, pull up the app, they'd stare into it, it'd take a video for 15 seconds. What it would do is come back with respirations and pulse, and then they would input their temperature. And so we're giving our students a PPE pack to where they'll have a thermometer as well. They'll input that data for a 14-day period. They'll be able to determine what a student's standard baseline of health is. And then any type of deviations off that, the students will have to do it every morning, or they won't practice or be able to go to class or things like that. And then it'll determine, hey, something's off here with Madison. And if something's off with Madison, then we would get a notification that we need to do some further screening with you before we were to go, into allow you to practice or play. We also have some unique abilities that we're going to be able to talk about in the next few weeks about rapid testing. So we'll have the ability to do some rapid testing on campus, which can be a very quick turnaround on testing. We put in a lot of mitigation strategies for physical distancing, and we're looking at venue, caps on attendance for some of our venues, and then our university's working on a lot of different things as well. So, we're going to continue to deliver a high level experience. We have some cutting edge technology that we're using that's positioning us to be in a very unique position compared to some of maybe our sister schools. And we're doing that. We're utilizing some of the connections we've had. And then, some of the cool thing, we got some of these today, is that, all of our students will be getting branded masks. They'll all be getting this one, students and staff. You can see WP and then Statesman on the side. And then we'll be selling a lot of different masks, such as like this one right here, for alumni, family, friends to be able to buy as well. And so we're looking at, when do we, what type of mandate do we have on wearing masks and things like that. So a lot of different strategies going into place. We'll be able to talk more and more about that in the next few videos that we're able to do. But we're definitely working very, very hard, and we have a plan in place to make sure that we're creating an environment that allows for us to return to some sense of normal, allows for our student athletes to be able to participate and do what they love. And that's really important from a mental health standpoint. And then, allows us to do it in the safest manner possible.
That's really good to hear. I'm sure that would ease a lot of minds of students and parents.
Yeah. And, students, I just make sure you're checking your email, because there's a lot of this information that's going out, and you can share this with your parents as well.
Mm-hmm. So the next question, social injustice has been a huge conversation lately. Is there anything the university is doing in response to this?
Yeah, first off, as a country, we have a lot of work to do. There's our Black students and our Black brothers and sisters just go through something that I would never understand. And so I think part of that, Madison, is that, people like you and I need to work to understand. We need to listen, and we need to, get an understanding what that perspective is, and knowing that we'll never fully understand, but, we got to ask questions and we got to listen. And so some of what we're doing there is, we're creating a task force, which we've reached out to 2 members of our student athletes and 1 member of ASA along with you, to create some type of task force to navigate through these things. And so, by the time school rolls around, we'll be able to roll further with that. One thing about William Penn University is that we've always been on the forefront of, providing a student experience that is equal to all. In 1902, we had our first Black graduate. In 1875, we had our first female graduate. So, through all the times in modern history, anytime there's been some type of, when there's been a lot of it, we've had, some social injustice throughout, decades, and it happens all the time, right? And so William Penn has always been that example. This campus has always been an example of how people who don't look like one another, think like one another, and act like one another are able to coexist with one another, understand one another, have conversations with one another, and become very good friends with one another, or enhance that perspective on everyone's different lives. And so, I think one thing about our university, who we are, we've always done this informally and in a formal way. And I think what we're going to be doing as a university with this task force and some other things that we do is yes, continue that informal way of doing things, but also do it in a more formal way as well. That's really going to be the mission of this group. And then we're going to figure out, how can we continue to learn from one another. We've had a quality night the last 4 years where we've embraced everyone's differences and supported one another. And that's what's beautiful about this campus. And I think we're uniquely positioned to be a leader in this world and find ways to have an enhanced understanding. But we've got work to do in this country. And I believe that William Penn University and our students in particular can be change agents to help the country move forward. So I'm excited for us to begin those conversations with the task force.
Yep, looking forward to that as well. Well, thank you for your time today, Nick.
Yep, and make sure anyone you have questions, send them to Madison and I. We've had a lot in the last 2 weeks, and Madison's on vacation. I was on vacation last week, so we're back at it, ready to go, and appreciate everyone's questions. We have a lot more that we'll get to in the next few videos.